Hi everyone. Such a strange day down here at the Buffalo Naval Park. It was 65 degrees and sunny, then we got some rain, and now the sun's back out again. Anyway, Shane Stevenson, Director of Museum Collections and Curator here. And for today's video, we're going to be talking about collisions. This is something that's really interested me, and I know for a lot of our viewers, this was kind of like a reviewer's request for the collisions on board our vessels. Now, going into the records, we see that I've located 4 collisions that our 3 vessels have had. Certainly, I've covered the Croaker and the Whale. I will call that a collision. So we've covered that in another YouTube video. So we're going to cover 3 others today. 1 on the Sullivans, 2 on the USS Little Rock. All right, so I'm standing on Croaker right now, and we're near the bow of USS Little Rock. So if we take a look, I've got some images for you. And this first collision that I'm going to cover is with a Greek destroyer, the HMS Louchi. I'm sorry, my stepdad is of Greek heritage. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. She was a D-56, and she was ex-USS Hull, a Fletcher-class destroyer, DD-583. Right, so she had a really long life. I believe she was in the Greek Navy until about 1990, if I'm not mistaken, which I certainly could be. Right, so you'll see 1 picture of the Greek destroyer, damage to her superstructure. All right, and then you'll see 2 pictures of the bow of the Little Rock. So as you go through, you see that it really kind of sliced the bow probably 4 or 5 feet horizontally. And in one of the pictures, you see that they are beginning the repairs. And this is what I love, talk about primary source materials. What we have here, hopefully you can see that, is the riveting from that job. I don't know, it's a little bright out here, but we'll kind of zoom in. All right, so if you can see those rivets, that was the work done, and this was from a NATO exercise called Dawn Patrol 70. So at some point they collided, and you see the photographic evidence of that. I think the HMS Louchi fared pretty well. There were no casualties. But there was certainly some damage to her superstructure, as you see in that photograph. So again, NATO forces, Dawn Patrol 70, a NATO exercise. USS Little Rock was the flagship, collided with the Greek destroyer, and there's the primary source evidence that we have. Now we're going to head up to the stern of USS Little Rock, and we'll be showing you some more pictures. It's pretty harrowing, so let's go. Now everyone, you could just imagine the terror standing on the stern and the fantail of USS Little Rock. We just looked at the bow, now we're going to take a look at the stern. We have a couple pictures for you, and this is involving June 1967. The USS Liberty incident is also happening. And so USS Saratoga, CV-60, and USS Little Rock are in close formation because the command of USS Little Rock is watching flight operations on USS Saratoga. So, flight operations are over. USS Little Rock begins to pick up some steam to cut across in front, cross the T of the Saratoga. Little is known that the USS Saratoga also increases speed, and so when the USS Little Rock tries to cross in front, well, you can imagine what happens. So we have those two pictures. The first one I'd like to show you is where it's actually kissing the starboard side of the Little Rock. Right, so if you take a look at that picture, we're looking at somewhere, you know, the picture was actually taken probably right there. You see the launcher in the lower half. Right, and it's looking down on this area here. Now, if our plans for the helipad are of very similar or the same dimensions, what we're looking at is a closed chalk right here at about 142, frame 142. And so, if you can imagine the Saratoga coming right in, right about here. Right, there was a sonar boom that was off of the stern of the vessel that I think got cut off. At least that's what from eyewitnesses say. All right, but then we also have that secondary picture where you're showing the flight deck and a couple of guys running, obviously. Now that was probably taken from the port side, maybe even up a level into the 04, 03, 04 up there, looking across, because the flight deck, you can see the flight deck. So the first picture showing the closed chalk is probably right there on the missile house overhead. The second picture, probably from those platforms right there. So yeah, at first I thought it was this closed chalk right here, but as you can see, it enters into the dimensions of the helipad. So cutting across right here, right to about frame 142, and then if you can imagine another 3 stories up or so, 3-4 stories up. So it didn't seem as though there was that much damage to either vessel, but I can't imagine standing here on the fantail with an aircraft carrier bearing down on you at speed. All right, well, it's now time to check out the Sullivans, and so follow me. Now I'm standing on our promenade here, right out looking at starboard side of USS The Sullivans. And for our last discussion on collisions, let's take a look at that USS Massachusetts. Now, I've reached out to the USS Massachusetts to see if they have anything in their war diaries about this. This was a World War II collision in Tanapang Harbor, which I have a map of that, which is the North Marianas Islands. And they were nested or anchored beside each other. You know, the waves got pretty choppy and they collided. And in our war diary, in USS The Sullivans war diary, it says at frame 93 for about 4 feet. They also said there was some damage to the superstructure. You know, maybe up here on the 01 level, on the torpedo decks. So what they had to do is they took 4 feet and they blanked out the damage with a new weld. And if we take a look right here, you will see that. There we go. So that's right at frame 93, like it says in the war diaries. And this was in September of 1944 in Tanapang Harbor. So it says it bent and peeled back. These are my words now, not the words in the diary, but probably like a can opener. It just peeled it right back. And here is the damage control weld and the blank that you see right here from that damage. So I have yet to hear back from the USS Massachusetts to see if they have anything in their war diaries regarding it. But this is really thrilling, talking about primary source materials. There you have it right there. There's the evidence right there. Like on the bow of the Little Rock, there's the evidence right there. And unfortunately, we don't have pictures of the Sullivans collision, but yeah, you're going up against a battleship. And then there was a secondary swell as well, which probably did something to the O1 deck or the torpedo deck up on the O1 level. Don't have any full evidence of that right now, but so there you go. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, ring the bell, do all that fun stuff. Look on the right-hand side of your computer, and we will see you again soon.